What is happening, my friends? Welcome to yet another great episode of the Arrington Gavin Show. I am your guy, your host, your friend, Arrington Gavin, coming to you on this great evening. Look, this is your go to spot for sharp insights, bold opinions, and unfiltered takes on the biggest stories of the day. Whether it's politics, sports, pop culture, or even the latest buzz, we're diving deep, keeping it real. So do me a favor, kick back, stay informed, and get ready to join the conversation. My friends, on today's conversation, we're going to be discussing the infamous Donald Trump, your next president of these United States. Look, he has another case that is tossed, that's just been announced. So we'll talk a little more on that. Jack Smith could possibly go down as I don't know, a highly accomplished or an embarrassment to the U.S. I don't know. That's coming from other folks. Geez Louise, can you talk today, Aaron? That's coming from other voices, just through difference of opinions that people think about Jack Smith. He's taken a huge loss really after this election. Also, MSNBC could possibly be up for sale. Guess who is thinking about purchasing it? Yep, keep guessing. We'll talk a little more later on in the show, as well as the artist, the entertainer known as Drake. He is taking y'all mofos to court. Okay, everybody's having fun with Kendrick Lamar's "They Not Like Us" song, which is a banger. I'm pretty sure it's still the most streamed song to this very day, and I would say is what helped Kendrick really garner the spot for the halftime Super Bowl halftime performance. So yeah, Drake is pretty disappointed, and he's taking legal actions, and so it's not looking too pretty. Also, we have a couple other stories that I didn't have time to mention on the last show, so we'll get it going with those first. But before we move forward, thank you, ladies and gents, for your continuous support of the Arrington Gavin Show. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to tune into this program just for another great conversation. We are independent, unbiased platform that's continued to grow each and every step of the way. We're growing the viewership numbers. We're growing in our listenership numbers as well. There's multiple ways you can contribute and support the program by simply doing what you're doing right now. If you're watching us on via our streaming platforms on YouTube or Rumble, I truly thank you. Please continue to follow us, hit the like button, leave us a comment, share, let everybody know about to find us on YouTube as well as on Rumble. You can also listen to us wherever you listen to your podcasts. We're available on all major podcast platforms, so please, you can find us from there as well. You can find us through the R Smooth Club Media channel on via podcast. Also, you can listen to the program Monday through Fridays at 11 p.m. on our radio affiliate WDJY 99.1 FM Straight Talk out of the Georgia market. So want to thank them for being a proud supporter of the Arrington Gavin Show. Let's see, what else am I forgetting? Oh, we're on Substack now, guys. We're continuing to get familiar with that platform. So all you have to do is just type in the Arrington Gavin Show.substack. You can find us through there. Also, let's see, Instagram at the Arrington Gavin Show, as well as X, formerly known as Twitter. I feel like I should just say X now, but people will be like, well, what does that mean? What is X? What is that? Yes, it's used to be known as Twitter, but it's X now, just the letter X. And we're looking at Blue Sky. I haven't really checked that out, but I see that's a growing social media platform. We want to try to get relevant, stay up with the times, the same old. But yeah, guys, we got a great show in store for you within this hour. Yeah, that's all that's all I can say for you. We want to thank some of our supporters of the Arrington Gavin Show, like our friends over at Rugged Evolution Beard Care. It's an all natural men's grooming line that offers 17 scented beard balms, oils, conditioning shampoos, you name it, everything you need to help enhance your facial hair care needs, whether you have a mustache, goatee, beard, you name it. Look, you always need a product to help keep that facial hair soft, make sure the skin underneath the hair is getting taken care of, and that product is Rugged Evolution Beard Care. Their website is www.ruggedevo.com. Again, that's www.ruggedevo.com. Also, want to acknowledge our friends over at Ingenious Gin. That's right. Ingenious Gin is a Black-owned, veteran-owned spirit that has a unique spin of the original gin. It's a rose gold complexion gin, very smooth. This delicious, neat, or on the rocks, or in a cocktail. You can drink it when you're celebrating. You can drink it when you're going through something. You know what I mean? Just a little sip, just a little taste. You know what I mean? But I highly recommend try it out, guys. Support veteran-owned and minority-owned businesses. Make sure you're 21 and over in order to purchase it, and please drink responsibly. Let's see, my friends. Look, we're gonna take a quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere. We'll have more here on the Arrington Gavin Show. We will have our fun fact of the day, as always, and then we're going to get it going with our story. So don't go anywhere. You are listening to the Arrington Gavin Show.
You know, just like a winning team evolves throughout the season, so does your beard. I'm Arrington Gavin, proud CEO of Rugged Evolution Beard Care. With our premium oils, balms, and grooming tools, it's everything you need to level up your beard game. Whether you're a seasoned pro or a rookie, Rugged Evolution is the new smooth. Order now and dominate the beard game like never before. Rugged Evolution Beard Care, because every beard deserves to be legend.
Welcome back, my friends, to the Arrington Gavin Show. I'm your host, Arrington Gavin. Again, be sure to follow me on Instagram at the Arrington Gavin Show. I truly appreciate it. Thank you. All right, guys, let's get it going with our fun fact of the day. You know, we like to do it every show. Today's fun fact comes to you with the fact, actually. Did you guys know that mock naval battles were sometimes held in Rome's Colosseum? Did you know? Did you know? I bet you didn't. Well, guess what? You're welcome, because you learn something new every day, especially here on the Arrington Gavin Show. Let me tell you something about Rome's Colosseum. I don't know if I told y'all last show, but I had just watched not too long ago the first Gladiator movie for the very first time, right? Which is crazy because it's 2024 right now, and that film was premiered in 2000, y'all. You hear me? 2000. And so seeing and I've told y'all many times, Denzel is probably my favorite actor of all times, like number one. And he is starring in this film. He's been doing a lot of press promoting it, and it's like, okay, wow, this is gonna be a dope film. So, but it's Gladiators 2. So I don't want to be, the weird one to see the sequel and not having seen the first one. I've already done that once. It did not work out. It was with that movie Dunes, which really, Dunes is an awful movie. I don't care who are fans out there of Dunes. It was it was awful. I hated every minute of that film. It was weird. It was boring. It was long as hell. I was in, I saw the first one first, and then excuse me, I saw the second one first, and then I went on to see the first one. It was garbage, garbage. Hey, great acting, not dogging the actors, but just the theme, the story. It was dumb to me. I would not never want to pay to see that again. And like I said, you already lose me when you're more than like 2 hours long. That movie was long. Like just like this movie Gladiators, but again, I was so, I guess, in the zone because I'm like, I want to see this movie. I want to see the storyline, all that good stuff. Because once I see this, then I will have an understanding of the second one, right? So I was cool with seeing that. Um, but yeah, I brought why did I bring that movie up? Oh, because they were fighting in the Coliseum and stuff. Are you not entertained yet? It was dope. It was dope. Let's get it going, y'all, with our first story. So my man Jason Kelce, who is continuing to enjoy his retirement from professional football, he is the older brother of the star tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs, Travis Kelce. But again, Jason Kelce is a star in his own right. Because he played 13 successful years with one team and one team only, and that was the Philadelphia Eagles. And he won a Super Bowl with them. He was a part of the Super Bowl winning team, which I couldn't be more proud of him. Very humble guy, total opposite of his brother, by the way, because Travis Kelce is more of the, flamboyant, like to party, got some swag game to it, right? Because Travis already kind of caught the public's eye when he first entered into the league. He had he was with his girlfriend at the time, or fiance maybe, who was an African American female. So first thing you say, like, oh, he down for the swirl. I see, because he had that soulfulness, right? He had the two earrings in the ear. He was, he was a great dancer and stuff. All had great touchdown dances and so on, right? And then you see his brother. His brother's like I want to just live on a ranch, and I listen to soft rock and hardcore rock probably, and just country. Like it was total opposites culturally, right? But anyways, um Jason Kelce, who recently retired, he's doing sports analyst right now. Pre-game and post games, I believe, on like with ESPN, and is doing a hell of a job, by the way, because he is, very knowledgeable in the sport and successful. Wife is a former athlete as well, and they both are just doing great. I actually, the whole family really, his mom included. Was watching a Christmas movie not too long ago, and she had a guest appearance in that, and she was quite a great actor too. And I'm like, okay, Mama Kelce over here making money, with her gigs. But anyways, as I digress from that, I bring this up because 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 it was announced recently that Jason Kelce would be set to host a new late night show on ESPN. Which, let me tell you something, out of all the channels on TV, I would say ESPN has been very consistent and successful with their adjustments, right? Set us in, I know it's two different, channels. I'm not comparing them to like certain news channels, which we'll speak a little bit about that later on the show. But ESPN has always gone through, they've gone through pay cuts, they've gone through, fires and hires, and we gotta let this person go, and adjusting with new personalities, and they're doing a hell of a job. They're doing a great job. Again, you bring on the Pat McAfee show. Huge banger. You bring on Pat McAfee as not just the host of his own show, but he's one of the hosts of College Game Day. So adds more humor, more ratings. He's doing a great job with that. Then you have the Manning brothers. The Manning brothers, they have their own show. I think they each have two individual shows on like the streaming platforms of ESPN, and then they have their own show on the linear channel for ESPN, where they're commentating live during the games, and it's pretty dope. They have special guests and so on and so on. You've brought on Nick Saban as a personality. I mean, who else? I feel like I'm missing some folks, but anyway, you get guys also like Jason Kelce. He is set to launch a late night sports entertainment show. They call it. It's gonna be called. They call it Late Night with Jason Kelce. That will air 5 consecutive Friday nights beginning January 3rd and throughout the NFL playoffs. Pretty interesting. Um, Let me read you a little more because this is actually image for those who are watching. This is from Adam Schefter's um sports journalist extraordinaire, Adam Schefter, his social media page. But let me read this in context, which was reported by Fox News. Excuse me, Fox News. Uh, and it says here, he is expanding his media resume. Obviously, future Hall of Famer who is a podcast who hosts a podcast alongside with his brother. He's also a Monday Night Football analyst. Recently announced that they were going to be doing the late night show. Um, Says here that, and I quote from Kelce himself saying, "I loved late night shows. I've always loved them. I remember sleepovers watching Conan O'Brien with my friends." Kelce said on Kimmel's show, "We're going to have a bunch of guys up there, legends of the game, friends that I played with, coaches and celebrities." The first 4 episodes of They Call It Late Night with Jason Kelce will be broadcast in front of a live audience at Union Transfer in Philadelphia. So again, bring it to Philly. Awesome, awesome. Um, of course, Philadelphia is where he played his entire NFL career for 13 years with the Philadelphia Eagles. Says here, first episode will be taped the evening of January 3rd and will be broadcast the following morning at 1 a.m. Eastern time on ESPN. Well, it'll be broadcast the following morning at 1 a.m. ESPN will record 4 more shows. The final broadcast is scheduled uh for February 1st. Kelce and his younger brother Travis launched a podcast called New Heights in 2022, a few months before facing each other in the Super Bowl. After Travis won that Super Bowl, he hosted Saturday Night Live, and Jason made an appearance. Travis is also the host of the show Are You Smarter Than a Celebrity? Again, both of them are extremely talented. Kelce's wife, Kylie, announced recently that she is pregnant with the couple's fourth daughter. In his career, he made 7 Pro Bowls and a 6-time first team All Pro selection. And if I'm not mistaken, I want to say his wife is supposed to be let's see. Okay. Says here this report by TMZ saying that uh apparently Kylie Kelce launches a new show. It says here that she's getting to the podcast game, promising not to hold back with her very own show. The 32-year-old announced the new Not Gonna Lie with Kylie Kelce show, which was put together by Wave Sports Entertainment, the same company that runs Jason and Travis's popular New Heights show, that just landed $100 million payday. Wowzers. It says here in the announcement trailer, Kylie joked about how it took her some time to come up with the name of her show, saying yet another Kelce show, and F around and find out landed on the cutting room floor. Executive over at Wave, it says here, are pumped to add another Kelce to the roster, with EVP of original content saying that from social media to commercials to her favorite cameos on New Heights, Kylie refreshing candor, sharp wit, and relatability has consistently responded with a global audience. Not gonna lie, will bring more of the Kylie authenticity we all know and love, and we're beyond thrilled she chose Wave as her home for the series. I'm actually looking forward to that because again, I personally like to see um I like to I mean, I like to see the uniqueness and people that are passed on as being very relatable. And not saying passed on like, oh, they're like lying. No, if you've seen like the uh they were documenting like the preparation between Jason and Travis. I think this was ahead of like the Super Bowl period. And it was just showing, Jason contemplating on retiring, going back another year, so on and so on. And no, it was a documentary. It was a documentary. I'm forgetting what streaming service it was on, but it was a documentary talking about the lives of both the brothers. But it really focused on Jason Kelce, and he is a very down to earth living dude. Again, huge comparison to his brother Travis. Um, I will say, I think this podcast will be great because you're not getting the common, hey, this goofball who happens to have a does a lot of funny stuff on social media now has a podcast. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong, podcast really has a platform for all people, and I think everybody should start a podcast, right? Especially if you have a voice, if you have an opinion, if you have a a talent that can be spread. If you're a comedian, absolutely, it's like easy money for comedians, and it's easy money for already celebrities and public figures. But for people that really haven't made a name for themselves, like Travis Kelsey's wife, who yes, she's famous through her husband, but she also has made her own lane as a public figure and has her own audience. So I think this is just a great opportunity for her to continue to grow that audience, to grow a presence of her own, and not just being known as Jason Kelsey's wife. So I think that'll be pretty dope, man. I think that'll be pretty exciting. Again, so your husband got a late night show. I'm excited to see that because they are pretty they're pretty funny. But I'm curious to see this because right now ESPN has succeeded when it comes to the shows for post athletes. So I do think that is interesting. All right, let's go ahead and move it on. This was an interesting story that I could not pass on from talking about, but let me go ahead and move it on. So check this out. This is reported by a New York Post, by the way. A library worker is suing his employer. And now let me go ahead and put up this graphic, and I'll read a little more of this story in context. Let's see here. So it says here, this report by New York Post, that a 360-pound NYC library worker, quote on traumatized, sues for $4.6 million over two small desks, right? All right. Over too small of desk for his size. So he feels, I'm assuming that this is a discrimination case because he's like, hey, look, I'm a big guy. Why isn't a desk to satisfy my size? Okay, let me read a little more of this. A 6'2", 360-pound New York Public Library employee claims he's been traumatized by being forced to work at a desk too small and wants $4.6 million to make up for it. Says here that the welcome desk features a staggered countertop with a roughly 12-inch drop and a crampy, the library information assistant groused in New York, groused in a Brooklyn federal court lawsuit. Let me see here. All I saw was just a service desk with the appropriate accommodation given my physical attributes, he said in the legal filing accusing his superiors of discrimination and harassment. His union eventually intervened, helping Martin get assigned two different service desks within the library, but nearly 2 years later, he found himself in a bind again. All right. So I'm trying to make my little pinpoints in my mind so I can really share how I feel about this. Okay, now in June of 2023, a new assistant director was allegedly not on the same page as Martin, ordering him back to work at the cramped first floor desk, according to court documents. Now, things only got worse after he complained and got a lawyer involved. Now, the director allegedly dramatically increased how often she assigned Martin to the small desk, which was detrimental to his health and safety. Martin said in a legal filing, it was the director's way to bully William and intimidate him, showing him who is the boss. Now, a few months later, Martin was falsely accused of sleeping on the job and later suspended, prompting him to ask for a transfer and seek medical leave for anxiety and depression. The suit claims. Okay, let me look what time. Martin, who once ran a sports blog called 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge, claims his mental health has been damaged to such extent that he would tremble just at the thought of going back to work. Alrighty. Trembling to go back to sit at a desk that is too small. Well, for your size. Martin is asking a judge to force the library to approve a leave along with a hefty sum. The case is without merit, a spokesperson for the New York Public Library said, adding, we take employee accommodations and concerns with utmost seriousness and are dedicated to treat our staff across the library with fairness and respect. All right, guys. So let's dive deep. Let's kind of break this story down. All right. So a gentleman works in a library. He's an employee at the library that requires him to sit at a desk for however many hours he has to. I'm assuming he's full time. So, he's probably there 6, 8 hours, something like that. He's sitting at a desk. Now, he's a big guy, right? He's 6'2", which 6'2", really not that tall. Let's be real. That's not that tall. But the issue is he is 6'2", but 360 pounds. Now, that's a big boy at the height of 6'2", right? So what he's asking is accommodations for his size. Please, can you accommodate me? Because it's extremely uncomfortable. It's cramped. I'm here for all sorts of hours. This is a lot. Now, first thing I saw was that, okay, so his union eventually had to intervene earlier in this situation, helping Martin get assigned to a different service desk within the library. So I'm assuming they have different size desks to meet his accommodation. So the union helped out. They said, okay, look, he's there. We got you. Cool. Now you get a new assistant director who says, no, you got to be moved back. So now my question is, did the union get involved again where he came across as buying? Because if so, you would think they would have had his back. Or did they say, all right, maybe Brumman's getting a little too full of himself, and we can't help him this time. We can help him out this one time, but we can't continue to come back and forth to help you get assigned to this and that and the other. Should the workplace be accommodate all people, right? That's kind of like the big question when it comes to the hospital, when it comes to retail, when it comes to working in the food industry. Like, should they accommodate all sorts of people that needs a job? Because not everybody is going to be able to walk with 2 feet, right? There's going to be people that are wheelchair bound, but that will still need a job and that can still be accessible. There's going to be people that can't work for a certain amount of hours. It might, and what I mean by that is there might be folks that can't do too much strenuous work that will if they have certain heart issues, right? Or there's people that always have different issues that require them to be more comfortable, but they can still be beneficial and work for you and do the job, right? The hard part is when it comes to your weight, and and I'm not trying to offend people of the larger stature, but like it's just like this story years back where this lady who was overweight was saying that the I don't know, she wanted to sue an airline because they should accommodate chairs for big people. They should accommodate a free seat so she can do double seats and not have to pay for 2 seats or something like that. To me, that stuff like that is hogwash because you have you can attempt to lose weight. All right. You can make the leap of faith and care more about your health and lose the weight in order to, because here's the thing, these seats they test out saying, okay, look, the average person should not be extended the amount. If they are, then we do have to still accommodate them. But if it's a weight issue, look, y'all gonna have to push that plate away. I mean, it's tough love, but I mean, it should be a wake up call to say, okay, look, I have to trim it down now. Not saying this man is fully in the wrong, because again, if the union sided with them, then obviously there was some truth to his story, and to say, hold up, moving to another side, and they did, and that was fine. So he could easily walk out winning this case, because he's dealing with, apparently, the way it seems like a jerk assistant director that is saying, oh no, you gonna go back there, what, because I told you so, right? Because you have bosses out there that just love to, to abuse of power, because they do have that superior role, and everybody want to be a boss nowadays, um and tell people what to do. So that does exist. But i just I just think that, to say, like, the words he's using, traumatized, I tremble just going there, like, come on, it's a library. Like, you're acting like you have to go and work in Rikers or something. Like, calm down. Like, the wording is a bit, you know, over the top. Let's be honest. It's over the top. But I am just curious, um, for you, the listeners and viewers out there, like, what do you think about this case? Okay. Again, 300 pound, 360 pound, 6'2" individual, traumatized for working at a small desk throughout his shift. Should he is he in the right of suing his job that has, moved him back to, um you know to a small desk? Does he have a case here? Could he possibly win? Is this unfair? Is this, discrimination? Like, what is happening here? Because again, I think we do have to acknowledge that we have to be better as a people, right? If we have to admit to some person, be like, hey, look, this is just a sign, bro, that you can't always make millions off of you feeling like you're getting abused and bullied, because, man, I can't work in this. You took the job, for one. You had to see that desk when you were uh getting taking your orientation there or something. You know what I mean? Like, what did you expect? And that's when, kind of like, calling, balls and strikes in this scenario is, uh what did you expect? Did you expect that the desks were going to be, I mean, we've all gone to libraries, we've all seen the average desk size. Like, I mean, i just i I think now everybody's always is quick to say that, hey, look, I'm having a personal issue right now. This is really traumatizing to me. This is just, I can't even, I tremble every time you got to go to the library and sit at that desk. Look, if you that traumatized, bro, but you quick to think of that number, you quick to get some millions. And right now, come on now, come on. Now, sometimes the price range is never up to the person suing. That's usually what the law and, like, what the attorneys normally, offer out there on, put that on the table. But again, come on, this a little bit, it's a little bit too much, y'all. Let me know what you think about this by, again, DMing me at the Arrington Gavin Show, or either leaving a comment below on this video. I truly appreciate it. Or, if just leave a comment for us via podcast as well. I'm curious about the story. I want to read a little more on it, or try and at least find other interesting stories like this. But it's yeah, like I said, it's interesting. It's interesting. Um, but I be working out. I want to look good in a suit. I'm trying to keep my body looking right and lean. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to still keep it hot for my wife because it's you gotta compete out here in these streets, man. These men are thirsty out here, and I gotta make sure I keep on exercising and all that good stuff, and it's good for my health as well too. So set aside from that, it's good for my health too. You don't want to overindulge and get overweight. Anyway, y'all, let me go ahead. We're gonna take another commercial break. When we come back, we'll have more here on the Arrington Gavin Show. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Become a man of distinction with Rugged Evolution Beard Care. Order our scented beard oils and beard balms to help you maintain and grow the perfect beard. Order today. Try our men's care products like the full body exfoliating cleansing bars, body wash, smooth stash, and more. Log on to our website or download our app to place your orders. Rugged Evolution Beard Care. We're your luxury but affordable men's care line. And remember,
Rugged is the new smooth.
Country road, take me home to a place. Oh, we're back. Oh, my bad. I was in the zone, y'all. I wasn't. No, my bad. Uh, good song though. Good song. Let's see. What do we have next? Okay, let's talk about this. So, the liberal media has been in a just a outpour of of worrisome. Like a lot of liberal media is worried after the results of the most recent of the presidential election. Again, I'll repeat it. You have Donald Trump heading back to the White House. You have the Republicans winning the House and the Senate, and most likely conservatives will be taking over the Supreme Court. Right? Liberal media, they're like in their mind, they're like, we're effed. Like we are like not thrilled about this. One of the main reasons because for one, ratings are continuing that will continue to suffer because you already made up your prime content of election, right? It's the election, and then for liberal media, your prime topics were uh criticizing Donald Trump and saying how bad he is, how awful he is for society, this and that and the other, right? And now that the election's over, it's like, okay, do you continue to share that same narrative throughout? Some people say, hey, why not? Because you're going to stick to your principle and you're going to just keep on spewing it out, spewing it, spewing it out, spewing it out. Now, one show that took a huge hit because of their stance that they took by going to Mar-a-Lago, talking with Donald Trump for close to 2 hours. I'm talking about Mika Brzezinski and Joe Scarborough, co-host, husband and wife, but also co-host of Morning Joe, which was at the time their most popular show on MSNBC. They're making a ton of money, by the way, from that show, but I mean, ratings suck. Fox News has continued to overpower the news media as far as viewerships, which I still to this day like. I don't know why, but I kind of do at the same time because see, Fox News has always been a step ahead when it comes to um how to service the people with their content. They were the first to really start having a news digital channel, like a streaming channel, excuse me. They've always had, Fox Radio. They literally take over radio talk radio because it's been majority conservative. So the Murdochs and all them. I mean, they got all sorts of media, newspapers, you name it. They own a lot of real estate. Um, Again, their streaming service has succeeded. CNN tried to do it at the time with CNN Plus, that struggled, that failed after what, like a month, maybe close to 2 months. They're doing decent now as far as by joining forces with a Discovery on Max, so that's a good pickup for them. But even like YouTube number wise, I mean, CNN's doing good on streaming platforms, like YouTube. MSNBC, slightly different. They're still struggling. Shoot, News Nation's doing a lot better than them, and they're still a growing platform. Hell, Newsmax is probably doing better than MSNBC at this point. But let me read you this article reported by CNN, and it shares. Give me a second as it comes up. So it says here that, let me see, I want to get this up here as well. So let me get that going. All right, so let me see what's this gonna be sharing. Let me play this for you.
By MSNBC. He's posting memes on X floating the idea that he could take over the.
So if you hear the voice right there, that's Brian Stelter. I'll read this more in contents. It says here that Elon floats buying MSNBC, but he's not the only billionaire who may be interested. So it says here that Elon Musk has called MSNBC the utter scum of the earth. He has said this channel peddles Purell propaganda. Just a few days ago, he said that MSNBC is going down, and now he is posting memes about buying the channel. Now, again, this gentleman is the richest man in the world, not the nation, the world. They're saying he's on the cusp of becoming the first ever trillionaire. Says here, conventional wisdom holds that Musk, the world's richest man and key Donald Trump ally, and his friends are just joking. But Musk posts are adding to the anxiety that MSNBC staffers are feeling about the re-election Donald Trump and the recent announced spinoff of Comcast cable channels. Now, says here, I spent Sunday on the phone with sources to gauge what might be going on. Let's see who's. Yeah, this is actually reported by Brian Stelter. It says here that Comcast has not put a for sale sign on MSNBC's door. If Comcast chief Brian Roberts really wanted to sell the liberal cable news channel, he could have done that already. Instead, he is moving MSNBC and a half a dozen of the cable channels into SpinCo, a pure play cable programming company. The hope is that spinning off the pressured but profitable channels will boost shares of both Comcast and SpinCo. That kind of answers your question right there, y'all. I feel like a lot of folks are a bit nervous, but one thing that I will say, I've witnessed a lot of liberal pundits and anchors report is that they know how to kind of over exaggerate stuff. I mean, let's be honest. Like, oh my gosh, if he wins, I'm moving out of the country. I'm out of here. Just like that. They're still here. They know how to over exaggerate. Really, they do. And I can understand just figure of speech especially if you're really feeling unhappy with the current situation of the world and of of the country you live in and who's in office. I get it, but you do kind of exaggerate a little bit too much. You do go a bit overboard with the dramatic. Let's see. Comcast says the transaction will take about a year. At the point, could someone swoop in what they bid for MSNBC? It's complicated. They said SpinCo is a structured and tax-free spinoff, and independently, no, excuse me, immediately div- uh, divesting an asset would have tax implications that could foresale any such sale. Now, Elon Musk has been, he jokes on Twitter like a kid. He almost kind of reminds you of a former president of ours when it came to like always using Twitter as the go-to, like just which hey, he Elon Musk is a billionaire. That man, give him his time to play on X. I mean, why not? But the crazy thing is, he is he is a wealthy man that could buy it. He really could. He can buy it well overpriced and own the media. He can. I mean, it will be a waste because if it's already a kind of a stagger when it comes to numbers and stuff, like why would you waste your money? But I mean, he has it to waste. He's yet to really seen a profit from X, but X is starting to be like that huge platform. It has so many people that are still involved in X. Is been considered to be more conservative leaning now than it was prior. Before he was owner, it was more liberal. So you got a lot of liberal public figures who has left the platform. I spoke about it on the show many times. Um, let's see here. I'm just trying to see about some other folks who there is there's been some speculation that possibly Mark Cuban could be interested in MSNBC. So there's a lot of folks. There's other folks that have been interested in purchasing a news channel, which I mean, who wouldn't, right? But MSNBC has been in existence for too long, so it will suck for it to go through so many changes as it's been announcing. I actually posted on my social media that apparently, and this was reported by the New Yorker, no other outlets have really kind of repeated it, but saying that Rachel Maddow is possibly taking a $5 million pay cut with MSNBC to I guess to hope to keep some more people instead of having layoffs, which is fair because Rachel Maddow used to be there evenings, weeknights from Monday through Fridays. She's now on there once a week. Okay. Um, I've mentioned Morning Joe Squad, Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski. They make millions and millions of dollars. Now, I'm not saying like for know your worth, but if you're already making millions, like come on, like, but don't get me wrong, they're on like 4 hours a day, 4 hours every morning. Rachel is on TV 1 hour a week, but she also has a podcast. She also does other stuff that she runs. So I don't know. I just think it's a lot of money involved. It's hard to when it comes to the expenses of the salaries, the sets, the doing this, the assignments. Look, it's a lot of money. You just got to be more business savvy with the y'all. You really do. Let's see how I'm looking with my time. I think I have some more time. This is not in regards to MSNBC, but just with the liberal media shakeup. So CNN has been a struggling network trying to build ratings in comparison to again Fox News, who's always kicking tail in the ratings. Um, they're trying to really do a shakeup with CNN. Ever since they've fired Chris Cuomo, they let Don Lemon go. They let a lot of their prominent figures on the channel go. And on top of that, Chris Wallace announced that he will um be leaving the network after the year. I think after the inauguration. He was there for 3 years. He signed a 3-year contract, so he succeeded his time at CNN. But he's 77 years old. He's going to pursue mostly the digital space, which is cool. But that was kind of like one of their huge signees. And it didn't work out. CNN is hurting right now when it comes to bringing on great content. Now, I still support them. I mean, I watch all the news platforms, but I will say I still support CNN. I like the lineup that they've done. I'm a fan of Abby Phillips and Laura Coates. I'm a fan of a lot of their contributors on there. Of course, Van Jones is a successful guy on there. Axelrod, very successful name. Scott Jennings, a conservative voice on there, really popular guy. Does not hold back his tongue. He practices what he preaches, as well as my guy, Shermichael Singleton. Great, um, uh, great conservative voice, and just again fair. A fair individual. So CNN has the pieces. They have the right folks. It's just a matter on how do they how do oh, and I'll see Casey Hunt. I mean, they have a great lineup of people, but it's just a matter on how do you structure the kind of shows, the time slots, do you want to pursue more streaming shows, which I would advocate if I was them, I would pursue more. But this time, when you do streaming shows, don't have your regular people that's already on the linear channels. That was just trash when you guys did that the last time. That really pissed me off. When you started seeing them plus and you literally have all the people on your linear channel had shows on the streaming channel. Like, why would you do that? You got to make it almost like two separate channels. Because see, here's one thing that I give credit to Fox News. Fox News has Fox News and Fox Business. They got two separate, their personalities have two different shows, in split up between two channels, like they're two separate channels. The only person that you'll see on both that has a show on both channels is Neil Cavuto. I think he's the only guy, if I'm mistaken, that has a show on Fox Business and a show on Fox News. So for me, that is that's the only thing. But when it comes to their radio shows, that turns into podcasts, that turns into YouTube shows, that shows you can watch on their Fox Nation. I mean, it's genius. It's a great strategy. But they bring on out of all those new staffers. Look, they give their staffers give them their own programs. CNN, you got all these paid contributors and correspondents. Give them their own platforms. Stop making it seem like, okay, well, we got to have Anderson host this or we got to have this. No, it's not going to work like that. Um, I think you should give Shemichael Singleton his own program. I think you should give Axelrod his own program. I see you're doing good with Casey Hunt. Maybe give her another hour added to her lineup. I love what they're doing with the comedy show that they have on Saturdays. I forgot the name of the show, but it's hosted by comedian Roy Wood Jr. and two other I think Amber Ruffin, and I forget the other guy's name that's on there. But it's a great show. Great show. I like that change up, change up your Saturday lineup, change up your Sunday lineup as well. I know you do a lot of documentaries, which are good. I mean, the Carvel one was spectacular, right? I think I heard that they're doing one on New Year's Eve that will be about Luther Vandross. So look, your docu-series are pretty dope, but hey, I will say it's been a hard adjustment. RIP to Anthony Bourdain. He had a successful show on there, but again, sadly he had passed due to taking his own life, and it was truly it was extremely sad to see. I will say it was extremely sad to see. Kamal Bell, he had an awesome show on there for a long time. There's there you have some folks that have some great content on there. Caitlin Collins, who hosts she's in the 9 p.m. time slot. Up a rising star in CNN, young, not scared to have those confrontational well, not confrontational, but those hardcore debates, you know what I mean? Like, she does not back down from anybody. She could possibly be receiving a role as chief White House correspondent, as well as, I'm assuming, keep that show. So, pretty big role for her. I'm trying to see who else is on CNN. Well, they're gonna need to do something for the slot to fill in on Saturdays because Chris Wallace, who I said that was leaving, he will be he had a show on Saturdays at 10 a.m. called the Chris Wallace Show. It was like a kind of a panel discussion, a panel discussion platform. That's no longer there anymore. So see what you're gonna, see what's gonna happen there. Who's gonna fill in that seat? Um, yeah, they're really going to need to find ways to improve the streaming platform, improve the digital space, and go on from there. Bring more fair-minded voices and not strong liberal, which I think they're doing pretty decent right now. It's MSNBC who's struggling because they've always been more far left, in my opinion. But the average American is either center right or center left. Really, if the crowds that are extremists, that's not the majority of Americans. That's just in my personal opinion. Um, but when you have channels like, say, a News Nation, who is a growing platform, when you bring on a lot of moderate voices, center voices, and then you do have your extremist leaning voices from time to time, right? You got, like, in my opinion, Sean Spicer is far right. uh he might say that he's center right, but he is fair. I will say that he plays fair from time to time. I will give him that, but he's gonna always be team right leaning, or just the right. Likewise, my guy Chris Hahn, the aggressive progressive, he's always gonna be very strong left. But he's fair. Again, I think that's the key that we always want to keep on pushing out, is like, you can be whoever you want to be. You can have whichever kind of opinion or view that you want, but just be fair. And see, because these news channels like MSNBC or CNN, a lot of them wasn't really sending out the fairness. They wasn't reporting the fairness. All right? Let's be honest. How many times did you hear about Trump being accused of racism, or Trump being this, Trump being that? Look, Trump never helped his case because his mouth gets him in trouble. But during the election cycle between him and Joe Biden, look, if you're going back years back, catching him in acts, catching him, meaning Donald Trump, in acts of discrimination, then go back to Joe Biden. I'm blanking on the name that he used to be friends with, but this a gentleman who was a member of the KKK. All right, that was in the night. That was in the not the 90s, but that was far back in the earlier years. Now, not saying Joe Biden is agrees with that man's opinions, but hey, bring up those stories, bring up those scenarios. Play it fair, y'all. You have to play it fair when it comes to the border issue, right? And I'll talk a little more because I'm running out of time. But when it talks about the border issue, you can't forget that, hey, Obama, okay, used to be called the deporter in chief. Remember that he deported mass numbers, way more than the Trump administration. That's coming from the right and the left. All right, but see, Obama never really he never spoke out loud about that. But that's just, again, playing it fair. I will extend the conversation, y'all, on the next show, because again, within this hour, we always lose track of time. But do me a favor, my friends, continue to tune into the Arrington Gavin Show Monday through Fridays. Wherever you on all digital and streaming platforms, you can tune to the Arrington Gavin Show. Also, you can listen to us on our radio affiliate on air Monday through Fridays at 11 p.m. WDJY 99.1 FM Straight Talk, as well as WDJYFM.com. Take care, my friends.